Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We're here to take that stack of sources on your desk and, well, pull out the really key insights you need. Today we're digging into a really interesting strategic model. It sits right at that crossroads of, say, business discipline and maybe something like spiritual acceleration.
That's a good way to put it.
We're looking at the framework from Chris R. Valassi's book, When Preparation Meets Favor, how God positions you for breakthrough.
Right.
And look, this isn't just another how to work harder guide. Our mission here is to really get under the hood of the specific formula the author uses. Why do some folks, leaders, entrepreneurs, see these massive, sometimes sudden breakthroughs?
While others seem stuck. Yeah.
Exactly. Working just as hard but hitting a wall.
Yeah.
We're searching for that, that operating system behind this sudden sprout idea.
And what's really compelling here, I think, is how it speaks to leader fatigue today. It's aimed right at that person who's done the work. They've got the skills, the strategy, the discipline.
But things aren't clicking.
Exactly. They're stuck in maybe a long waiting season, and it's frustrating. The core idea offers this powerful shift in thinking. Your skills and effort, they position you, sure, but the book argues only divine favor truly promotes you.
Okay.
So genuine breakthrough isn't just effort squared. It's this interaction, this multiplication between your faithful preparation and this, well, supernatural catalyst.
Multiplier.
Yes, it's really a call to move away from just relying on yourself, that kind of anxious striving.
The hustle culture default.
Right, towards something more like intentional divine alignment.
Okay, let's unpack that central equation straight away because, we're all pretty much conditioned to believe in the gospel of hustle, right?
We are.
The common story. Success is effort times skill times persistence. Seems logical. But you're saying the source argues the formula's got limits.
It does, fundamentally. That common story, it's linear. Put in A, get out B.
Right.
You want 10 times the result. You got to put in 10 times the effort. And that path leads straight to burnout for a lot of people.
Yeah, unsustainable.
So the author brings in this transformative story. It works on a different kind of logic. Breakthrough equals faithful preparation times divine favor.
Okay, so preparation is the foundation. The necessary soil, maybe?
Good analogy.
But favor is the thing that makes it exponential, the multiplier.
Exactly. It makes the result non-linear. I like how the source puts it. Effort moves you one step at a time, methodical. But favor can lift you, beyond that natural sequence, like a slingshot, as you said.
The slingshot effect, okay.
Yeah. Think about some of those figures the book mentioned, historical figures maybe. Their big breakthroughs often weren't just the sum of their daily work. There was that sudden, opportune moment, that divine alignment that just catapulted them forward.
But let's get practical for a second. What if I'm that leader, right?
Hey.
I've done my prep work diligently, but the divine alignment just doesn't show up. What am I supposed to think? Is this just, luck with a nicer name? Or does the book say maybe my preparation wasn't good enough?
Yeah.
How do we define favor so it doesn't just sound like wishful thinking?
That's such a crucial question, and the author is actually very careful here. Favor isn't defined as passive luck or some kind of, arbitrary favoritism.
Okay.
It's defined as God's intentional act of positioning you for influence, impact, breakthrough. It's even called God's currency of advancement.
Currency. Interesting.
Yeah. So it's unseen, sure, but it often shows up through very real, very strategic mechanisms that we can actually see and analyze.
Okay, that sounds like a powerful gift. But whenever you talk about gifts like that, it raises accountability questions, doesn't it?
For sure.
Like if I'm expecting this supernatural boost, does that let me off the hook? Can I just sit back? Does it breed, maybe, entitlement?
It absolutely shouldn't. And the author puts up some really clear guardrails against that kind of misinterpretation. First, no entitlement, big one. Favor's a gift. The right posture is gratitude, humility, not feeling like you're owed something.
Right, not grievance.
Second, no passivity. This is vital. Favor multiplies, remember. But it needs something to multiply. It boosts faithful, strategic action. It doesn't replace it. You still have to do the work.
Okay, amplifier, not substitute.
Exactly. And third, no manipulation. Favor seems drawn to integrity, trying to game the system, manipulate networks for promotion. Even if it works short-term, the book argues that influence won't last. It's built on sand.
So favor needs preparation, preparation needs character. That seems to be the sequence.
That's a great way to summarize it.
Which brings us nicely to how this actually works in the real world. This is where it gets really interesting for me. How does this alignment, this favor, actually show up? It's not just a random event, you said.
Yeah.
What are the practical ways Velocus describes?
Right, it's not magic. It flows through prepared pathways. The book breaks down this anatomy of alignment into 4 key parts. First, there's visible competence.
Okay.
Favor doesn't replace skill. It builds on the credibility you've already created through solid preparation. You've got to be ready, actually good at what you do, when the door opens.
Makes total sense. Opportunity knocks. But if you can't actually do the job, it's wasted.
Precisely. And that competence then fuels the second part. Quiet reputation. Those small, consistent acts of doing good work, they add up. They build reputational capital, often behind the scenes. People start talking about your reliability, your quality.
When you're not even in the room.
Exactly. Which then enables the third mechanism, relational access. Favor very often arrives through people, mentors, advocates, maybe gatekeepers, networks, people who are willing to vouch for you.
Why do they vouch?
Because of your reputation and your visible competence. It all connects.
So sometimes the divine intervention looks a lot like a prepared person getting a key introduction at the right time.
Very often, yes. And then there's the fourth piece, the one that's hardest to control, supernatural timing. This is where your readiness meets the moment, the opportunity, the market conditions, the appointed time, as the book calls it. Everything just clicks.
You can control your readiness, mostly, but you can't control the timing.
That's the essence of it.
I like that focus on readiness. It connects back to something you mentioned. Favor without formation, without character, can be destructive.
Absolutely.
You can't handle that exponential lift if your foundation's shaky. Which brings us to waiting seasons. Why does a prepared person still sometimes have to wait? That can feel unfair.
The author spends quite a bit of time on this. The waiting season, think of Joseph in prison, David in the pasture. It's framed not as wasted time, but as the hidden curriculum of waiting.
Hidden curriculum, I like that.
It's seen as a sacred training ground. The delay isn't necessarily denial, it's often about development. Building the character needed to handle what's coming.
That's a really powerful reframe for anyone feeling stuck. The principle seems to be, you qualify for the spotlight by being faithful when nobody's watching.
Couldn't say better myself. That character developed in the quiet handling pressure, managing things ethically, staying humble. That's what makes the promotion sustainable. If the big break came before your character was ready, the pressure, the visibility, it could actually cause you to stumble badly or compromise everything.
Okay, so this really flips the script. Instead of just pushing harder on the door, the focus shifts inward to strategic personal development.
Exactly.
Which leads us perfectly to the practical part. The Prepare Playbook. This sounds like the action guide. The 7 steps for leaders who want this kind of alignment.
Yes, this is where the ideas turn into actual commitments. And maybe think of them less like a checklist, more like disciplines that cultivate the right environment for favor to land. We could maybe group them.
Good idea. Let's start with the internal stuff, the foundation. How do we get our own house in order first?
Okay, that covers the first 2 letters. P and RP is for posture, inner orientation. Favor seems drawn to humility, a willingness to learn, emotional steadiness.
Not anxiety or entitlement.
Right. Those repel it. The practical tool here is pretty straightforward but deep. A daily 10-minute reflection. Check your motives. And keeping a simple gratitude log, maybe 3 things a day, it counteracts that feeling of being owed something.
And then R builds right on that inner state.
Yes, R is for readiness, skill, and preparation. Humility is great, but it needs competence alongside it. Opportunity given to someone unprepared. It becomes a liability, not a blessing. So the author stresses deliberate practice, and I really like this practical metric, the 10% rule.
Okay.
Always aim to over-prepare by at least 10% time, resources, whatever, beyond what the task seems to require. That little margin, that's often what turns mere competence into excellence. And excellence attracts favor.
The 10% rule, that's a great tangible takeaway. Okay, let's move to the next cluster. The external stuff. Proof points, credibility, access. That sounds like E, P, and A.
Correct. E is for excellence, deliverables, and reputation. Favor needs evidence, a track record. This is about documenting your outcomes.
How practically?
A suggested tool is creating a simple 1-page impact summary after big projects. Metrics, results, maybe a testimonial. It builds that credibility. And basic stuff too, reputation hygiene, like responding promptly, owning mistakes quickly.
Which flows right into P for people.
Yeah.
Relationships and advocates. Reputation and excellence are like the currency you spend to get relational access.
Exactly. Favor often flows through networks.
Hmm.
But the book flips the usual networking advice, the key mindset, a sponsor-first mindset.
Meaning?
Actively look for ways to sponsor, champion, and lift other people up before you start looking for sponsorship yourself. Become known as someone who gives favor away.
Interesting twist.
And strategically, cultivate maybe 3 anchor relationships, people who really know you, your character, your work, and will speak up for you authentically when you're not there.
Got it. Okay, last in this group, A for alignment, moral and strategic. Sounds like the integrity check.
It really is. Favor aligns with purpose, something bigger than just personal gain, and shortcuts. They tend to undermine the long-term results. The suggested tool is an alignment filter.
A filter.
Yeah, asking, will this decision advance the core mission? Will it honor the people involved? Is it sustainable long-term? And the commitment is a strict, no shortcut policy. Build it right, build it to last.
Okay, we've got PREPA. That leaves the last pair. Wisdom and stewardship, R and E.
Right. The second R is for read the season, timing. This is about wisdom. Just working hard isn't always enough. You need to discern when to act, when to wait, when to maybe pivot.
That's tricky.
It is. The book offers a helpful guideline, a heuristic. Consider acting when opportunity, a sense of inner peace and strategic alignment all converge.
And waiting.
Maybe wait when you feel pressure. Things feel misaligned, and there's a sense of haste or rush. Getting the timing right can multiply your effectiveness hugely.
Okay, and the final letter, the second E.
E is for entrust, stewardship. Favor seems to reward multiplication. People who steward what they have influence resources well, and who actively delegate and empower others. They tend to attract more favor.
It builds on itself.
Seems so. The practical side echoes the people point. Adopt a give-first policy. Maybe dedicate, say, 10% of your time or resources each month to genuinely help uplift or resource someone else. Stewardship is about multiplying influence, not just hoarding it.
Wow. This whole prepare framework, it really shifts the conversation about success, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
It's not just about grinding harder until you break through or burn out. It's about strategically positioning yourself, character, competence, connections, and then maybe trusting the timing.
Yeah, connecting back to the big picture, it feels like the book offers a pathway out of that exhaustion, that anxious striving we talked about at the start.
Like frustration.
Exactly, that feeling of, I've worked so hard, prayed so faithfully, why is this door still closed? The answer offered is a shift. Make your preparation an act of confident faith, not anxious effort. Do your best work. Build with integrity.
And trust the alignment for the results and timing.
That's the core message.
So that brings us back to the divine equation the author lays out. Effort positions you, favor promotes you, and character sustains you.
Beautifully put.
And the result, the outcome of living in that alignment. It's moving through work, through life, with peace instead of pressure, purpose instead of panic.
Couldn't agree more. It's a powerful alternative. The world's always telling you, chase the opportunity, faster, harder.
Mm.
This perspective says, maybe heaven tells you, cultivate readiness, patiently, diligently. You're not being denied, perhaps you're being developed.
Developed, not denied. I like that.
And maybe here's a final thought drawn right from the source material for you to wrestle with. If that big promotion, that sudden breakthrough, landed in your lap today, what unresolved part of your character would that pressure expose? Maybe even risk collapsing.
Oof, that's a tough question.
It is. But take that reflection, seriously consider it, and then ask, what's one specific step from that prepare playbook I can work on this week to strengthen that very area?